bastard. Will you sing with me? Say D. Say I. Say S. C. O. I am a disco dancer. I am a disco dancer. I am a disco dancer. जिंदगी मेरा गाना मैं इसी का दीवाना तो झूमो तो नाचो और मेरे साथ नाचो go I am a disco dancer I am a disco dancer I am a disco dancer How are you guys doing out here? Welcome to another live stream. I just thought I'd play something that I haven't seen for decades, to be honest, or listened to for decades. Is this something like we were talking about the other on New Year's Eve? Actually, the only reason I decided to play this because on New Year's Eve we were talking about this, and I showed the trailer to it, and I was like, you know. It's been so long, and I was talking about how it influenced me to basically make my first guitar, what anybody would call now a bass, because it had 4 strings on it. And I was talking to Niobe, our friends over in Canada, and fellow indie comics creator, right? And so I was like, have you, check this out. This is what influenced me to, get into music, like not get into music, but actually get into creating something with my hands, because like, I mean, when you're a kid you're always doing something like that, but for me I was like, I must have seen this about 83, so would mean that I was about 10 years old, maybe going on to 10 years, because 82, so it would be at the cinema or at the video, at the neighbor's place, and 83 VHS, man. And going home and just like grabbing a piece of wood and sticking nails into it, and then like I think it was 3-inch nails or something like that. That's what it was at home, and sticking it in there, and then sticking like nylon fishing line strings on there, and then bending over the nails and putting it on there. And now I have my guitar. So this sort of like really kind of brought back memories, because I've had like 7-8 head injuries over my since I was a child. So like really seriously when I was like about maybe 8 or something, maybe 11, I can't remember, but I remember hitting my head running, and it's like basically about 2-inch just cut over there. And so I don't remember a lot of things, but when I do, sometimes smell and music and something I see brings back memories. It's pretty cool. So I thought it would be cool to just start the stream off with that today. However, we're going to talk about a whole bunch of things today: comics, pop culture, movie, and and see how we go. Right. So starting off, let's have a look at latest pop culture news as we do. Right. So let me just bring up the the right little piece of information. And the latest one is, of course, this upcoming sex swapped Conan will be a queer cringe fest with She Is Conan. So this is what's coming out, and it's coming to cinemas in February. And this is from Fandom Pulse, and this is let's have a look at this. I don't know nothing about it. I'm a huge Conan fan. It's I'm I'm a guy who, as a kid, 13, 14-year-old, 15-year-old, uh, collected and I've started recollecting them again and used to read them like seriously. Like I would grab it, read it, and put it on the shelf, collect it, or then I'd try to buy them. Conan books from Les Sprague, from I think it was Lynn Carter, of course Robert E. Howard, right, and so many others. And I just used to eat that up. And now, I've got a character I'm creating who's like a beast man, but he's based around like a barbarian, and that's something that I'm doing in part of my Zoolandia world, which we're going to be looking at working with an artist from Spain, hopefully, right? Not Spain, Sweden, right? And we're going to be looking at that and looking at it, bringing him on. We're just working out the contract on that because I don't deal with contracts. I don't deal with finances and anything like that. I just keep my hands off that. I'm just a creative person who wants to create and get things I'm writing made. So I love, I've always loved Conan, and just and of course Red Sonja. It's just yeah. So to see something like this happen to it is just, I think it's vile. It's just lazy. I've discussed this with other creatives about how people just want to race swap characters or gender swap iconic figures, and then the thing they want to do is like impose their own ideologies into that character and so on. It's nothing new, but it's like the most laziest thing you can do. So like I said, for me, like I'm creating a character that is you know that is also a barbarian, but he is a beast man. So he's not going to be. Let me just put this out some. It's kind of, there we go. That's better. So he's like a beast man, right? So he's not like fully human, and he's not like he's a barbarian, but he's not Conan. So it's an original character. And I can make the character have whatever gender I want. I can infuse whatever sexuality, into that because it's my original character. Now, this is laziness, right? It's laziness, and it's also, ruining something that's so beloved out there in the world. And it's a character, that's iconic in the sense that, what's his name? Ani, was like, he's the only one who could have played it at the time. And you look at how it was played. I mean, my dad let me watch it at home at like about 12 years old or something when it came out on VHS. I've seen all the Conans. I've seen the Red Sonja movie. And like I said, I've got them. This year, my whole goal is to buy a really good Conan statue or action figure. It's my whole goal. By Christmas, I'll have that. It's it's going to cost a couple hundred. So I'm not like someone, I can easily spend $20 or $30 on this, but when it comes to a higher figure, I got to make sure it's value to me, because otherwise I can just go buy it, buy buy something like this and paint them up and make them look like Conan, right? Because of course He-Man is basically kind of like a takeoff on Conan, but with kind of like with sci-fi fantasy elements chucked in there in that sense. But I mean, anybody who's a fan of Conan would be like, why? Dear God, why? Right. So let's have a look at this article here from Fandom Pulse. We're not going to. I mean, I don't know how long it is, so I'm not going to try to go through the whole thing because I'd rather you guys go and look it up. But so I'll include the link in the chat here. But this is the name of the movie they're going to put out in February. And this is kind of like something that I always kind of like think about when people like parody or something else other characters, because I don't want to see that happen to my character, but somebody will one day, right? And that's just the way it is. So I don't like to do that with other characters, other people's characters. That's my opinion. That's me. That's my thing, right? So I don't hold it against anybody who does that. And I've discussed with other people, and that's fine. You do you, and I don't have a problem with that. But when you take an iconic character and do this to it, it's really sad. And now, like, I mean, every character, everything that you see that they just do, it doesn't pay off. It never pays off. And we're going to look at at the DC Comics character soon as well, where they've done this too, right? So this is called I don't know who Bertrand Mankendo is, but like we'll have a look at him and see what he's got going on creatively later, so we understand who this guy is, right? And what does he create? So, and what he's worked on, I should say. So let me grab a quick drink before I get all cotton mouth. All right, so she is Conan. So you can see it's got a, another N in there. And, you kind of go like Robert E. Howard would be like, rolling in his grave. I won't get it far, but if it was my character, I would be, if I could, roll in my grave. But yeah, it's like this never pays off. Have you seen everything that's happened the last few years with where they've done this? The sales, it'll happen quickly for once, and then it'll like drop off, and nobody will ever think about it again. Why don't you just make a decent Conan movie? Well, because you don't have the rights. I think Titan has the rights to it, and also, I mean, isn't it like in something about it being in like public domain? That's why they can do this. I don't know, but anyway, so she is Conan. This is a screenshot of it, right? So who's Conan, right? So she is Conan, directed by Bertrand Mandico, a sex-swapped queer cringe adaptation of Conan the Barbarian is coming to cinemas in February. I doubt it'll be coming here next one. I mean, yeah. I haven't even heard anything about it, right? And this is the first time I'm hearing about it. So from a short synopsis at the Altered Innocence, it's probably about right. In a barbaric fantasy sci-fi trip through time, great. Now you're using time and sci-fi. Cool. Then you shouldn't have just called it Conan. Call it whatever you wanted to. But of course, it's by the name, so you're going to be lazy, ripping off somebody else's creation, right? So in a barbaric fantasy sci-fi trip through time, sword and sorcery. Oh, by the way, this is written by Jack Dunn from Fandom Pulse. Right. In a barbaric fantasy sci-fi trip through time, sword and sorcery mythology is bent, fractured, and gender swapped by master visionary Bertrand Mandico in his third feature. Wait, he's a master visionary and this is only his third? We'll see what he's done, right? And we'll find out if he's a master. Because usually, I don't consider myself a master writer, even though I've written so much over the last 20 odd years of my life, right? And done so much, but I wouldn't never consider myself a master. You gotta like at least be doing it for at least about 10, 30 years. I reckon 30 years, maybe 10, 20 years. And lots of work under your belt, not just 3. Anyway, so 6 lives, 6 errors, and 6 deaths mark Conan's poetic journey through different incarnations and lesbian loves. Guiding Conan through her many epic lives is Ilana Lowenshon, amateur led the Corpse 10, never heard of those, as Raina, a Cerberus of many other worldly dimensions whose paparazzi camera sees all. Cerberus. Isn't Cerberus like a dog? What is Cerberus? Yeah, Cerberus is a dog. A three-headed dog of hell. I should know that. I've just done one of those. Kind of done one of those for my hellscape Templeton's. Right, so weird. Okay. The perversity of the Wild Boys and the hero's journey of Afterblue, Dirty Paradise, come together in this even. That must be another name for Afterblue. Because usually like foreign movies have like one or two names, like it translates better or they market it because then they realize that Dirty Paradise is there's another country has already got that done, so they have to change the titles. Like The Circle, right? Like a comic book drama thriller crime thing that I've got. It's called The Circle, but there's many circles out there, right? I mean, comics with titles called The Circle. But I did that like 20 years ago. Come together in this even greater handmade homage to Mandeko ropes in. Gosh, I'm wrong here. Let's get back to the start. The perversity of the Wild Boys and hero's journey of Afterblue, Dirty Paradise, brackets, come together in this even greater handmade homage as Mandeko ropes and influences as lush as Fellini, Citricon, the Night Porter, the Hunger, and Fassbender's entire over to craft a moving portrait of a warrior trying to find her place while outside of space, time, and meaning. The official selection of Cannes directors Fortnite, Fantastic Fest, and Sitges strives on its own bizarre extravagance as it pushes the limits of substance and style. And yeah, so she is Conan. Oh, so that's what she looks like, right? Does that look like a what's that like? Earring, ear stud, something like that. Yeah. So they couldn't even find a muscular female. And by the way, I like muscular females, right? I think that's pretty cool. Like you put your, I just like the tone and everything, and I like the time. Even like bodybuilders, right? And Dolph Lundgren says, based on the time and effort like athletes put into honing their body and to look a certain way. So yeah, so basically ripping off Conan, gender swapping, race swapping. I'm not race swapping because she's still white, right? Yeah, she's still white, so not race swapping, but gender and sex swapping, right? So according to interviewer, right, Conan, there's a warrior at 25, a betrayer at 35, and a sadist at 45. There you go. And a psychological terror at 55. She did not disclose what Conan was at 56. A childless cat lady, perhaps? Good joke. Yeah. The kind of bastardization of Robert E. Howard's great Conan character has to have him turning over and says, didn't even know that was there, but that's what I said at the start, right, when we were reading this. But, and it's, yeah, guy, right? Someone's saying, and this is a joke, right? Wished it was, but alas, right? Jack's replying there. This sounds like pure crunch. It is. Pure Weimar Republic vibes. Don't know who that is, but yeah, luckily Chuck Dixon's Conan is available now and faithful to the source material. Yeah, I mean, like somebody said, like the recent Conan books. Sorry about my phone that's texting away. I mean, messaging away. Might as well sit on it anyway. Yeah, this handy reminder, is out there with Chuck Dixon. I've got a couple covers of it. I think it's the same book. I'm not sure. Yeah, nice dollar store face makeup, right? From the reject bin at the dollar store. Basically, I mean, like you're just ruining an iconic character, and this is what the cringe fest of modern storytelling is. It's the ruining of, of what's good out there. Now I mentioned that, like, there is all this, how DC writers, there's a they think that by annoying people and doing this sort of stuff that you're going to get sales. Sure, number one will get what I would call the collector, right? FOMO, fear of missing out, right? Uh, People who are like who are trying to collect it and have that, oh, I've got this, right? And that's it. After that, nothing else will get the same numbers because they want that number one or that first interpretation of him as a gay character or as a bi character or as a lesbian or as black, right? But never white, right? Never white. So, it's like I would love to see the first Black Panther, right? As a white dude, right? White Panther. Right. So this is Joshua Williamson, whose comic I will never buy again, right? If this is the attitude you have towards, people, towards your fan base, to your readers. And this is why comic shops are closing down after 30 years of being in business, right? As I said, recent thing that I noticed in myself, that comics just just in 2015, they didn't move. They just didn't move. Yet, which although the mangas were getting ordered, and like people come in, give me this anime, please order this, $55 or whatever, because at that time it was very expensive. And I think it's still a bit expensive getting a DVD of a manga. I mean, sorry, anime. And people come in and I've never even heard of it. Okay, cool. Like Fate's, was it Fate? Something Fate, and I'd never heard of it. And she said, I'll get this. And I went, all right, I'll get my supply, got this. All right, it'll take this long to get here. Cool. It's arrived. Here's the money. Cool. I wish I'd been smart enough to go with manga instead of like dropped out comics instead of having to close my shop up. There was other factors, but I saw the comics not moving. When you got 150 odd comics on the shelf times 10, that's $1,500 sitting on the shelf. And this is why comic stores are closing, because of people like this. So Batman writer Joshua Williamson, right? This is once again from Fandom. Here we go. Let's put this up as a marketing thing, right? So they see this as a marketing ploy. And look, annoying your customers is never a good marketing ploy. Have you ever been to a shop and that person has treated you really bad? Do you think you're ever going to go back to that shop? If that salesperson's had a bad day, rather than getting somebody else's service, she or he gives you a bad service, you'll go, you know what? I'll go to another store. And I've done that. I'm sure I've done that. Like, my memory's not that good, but I mean, usually I won't get back to that person. I'll look for somebody else to serve me if I need something that I can't find anywhere else. So the problem with this whole thing, and this is across the board with mainstream comics right now, Marvel and DC, this is their way, right? So Batman, let me grab a drink again. Sorry, it's a bit hot today, and I've got the windows closed because there's a noise outside, and I've got lights up and in front of me, so I don't look too dark. Because if you don't have enough lighting, there's something for people who who haven't done filmmaking or don't know how lighting works. The more lighting you have on your face, the better the pixels when you go to edit. So you need a brighter, image for the camera's lens to pick up and get as much detail, because every time you go and edit, it actually downgrades digitally, right? So it's not getting the same amount. So what goes out becomes a bit deteriorated. So you might have a 1080p broadcast, it might come down to 750 or 720, I should say, because of editing, because you're like exporting again and so on. So it deteriorates it. Kind of like this, right? When you do this, with your if you mistreat your customer, it gets downgraded, right? Oh, I'm not going to go see, buy the comic. I'm not going to go to that, offer them my money anymore. I'm not going to buy it from that store. I'm going to find from some other store. I'm not going to buy from that online store. I'm going to buy from that online store, right? Because, right, yeah, I mean, I've just had one of my items lost for the first time, right? From like Trade Me, and like it's been delivered. And I'm like, where is it? Tracking it, right? So it's kind of annoyed me right now. And so I'm like, it's kind of sad because I was looking forward to my Spawn collected edition DVD set. Anyway, so Batman writer, he writes for DC. Batman writer Joshua Williamson admits Marvel and DC comics piss people off as a marketing ploy for short-term comic sales. That is not a good way, but they don't care. Like I said, they don't care because it's not them that's buying the comic; it's you. But really, it's the shops. And like I said, if I've got 150 comics, 150 comics sitting on my shelf as a comic shop owner, which I had, that's $1,500 New Zealand that's sitting on the shelf because each one of those comics costs $10 to the customer. So I've lost $5 already, right? Because I've already paid $5 for it for wholesale. Now I marked it up because that's how it is. It's a retail on the right. That's how you retail it. You can't retail more. You got to retail what the price is, and so you've lost money every time it sits there. It's using up space. And it's not doing anything. So this is John Del Ross writing. Right. So here we go. So Marvel and DC Comics have abused comic book readers for the longest time, probably about 15 odd years, I'd say. You know, around. I noticed it about 10 years ago, right? 2014, 2015, but I'm sure it's been, happening a bit longer. So the comic industry keeps lowering the bars of the products. And, you can open any comic up and have a look at it. But 3 and 5 will be shit. And I'm talking about mainstream comics, right? From Marvel and DC. The art inside isn't as good as the art on the cover. And even and I mean like A cover. I'm not talking about the B cover. I'm talking about the A cover, like the cover that should represent what's inside, right? Yeah, the comic industry keeps lowering the bar of products and destroying beloved characters like Spider-Man. Let me just check something. I'm just give me 1 second. Just wondering whether you're able to hear me or not. All right, so that's that. Give me 1 second. Now, I try not to be negative on here, so I try to show toys and stuff like that. But a lot of time, it's not a really like the pop culture, like like what's happening in anime isn't good news, right? A lot of bad news is happening. But we're gonna look at Solo Leveling, right? Trailer from that because it's a brand new show, and I got told about that, a while back, probably about 2 years ago from one of my, talking about shop, what is it called? Like talking about shops, right? Like a grocery store guy was saying, hey, you know what? Have you listened to hold on. That was bad. So have you checked out Solo Leveling? I've been reading webtoons and I love it, man. I'm like, because he goes to me, oh, you read manga too, right? Because he knows I'm a comic dude. I go, yeah. Because and I'd never read it. I think I read 1 or 2 pages and never read it because I was just like, okay, well, I've been reading other stuff. So yeah, and we'll have a look at that because that's pretty cool, right? But like I said, right now it's the market is cynical because of what's happening, right? So let's go. So the comic industry keeps lowering the bar of the products and destroying beloved characters like Spider-Man, Batman, X-Men, and more with ideas that would never have been approved for what if. And if you know the what if, like what if this happened, what if that happened, comic line, right? Stories by editors in the 1980s, let alone be part of the main continuity, right? So you got a gay Alan Scott, you have a bi or gay what you call it, I was gonna say bad boy Robin, right? And so on and so on and so on, and gay Iceman, right? And I've mentioned it, so I'm not going to dwell on that. So in a recent interview with Popverse, Batman and Robin writer Joshua Williamson admits the comic industry upsets fans intentionally, right? On like purposefully, right? It's like I don't want to get into all these words, but like, yeah, on purpose, right? As a cynical marketing ploy. And guess what? Everybody that's going to read this article or watch this video is going to realize that, hey, who are all the people that are doing that? You know what? maybe we shouldn't buy their comics. And I encourage you to go and support indie comics creators who are not cynical towards you, who are not intentionally trying to, push their shit on you, right? Trying to, clickbait you or bait and switch you, right? So yeah, and it's like they don't think about long-term goals here. They don't care anymore. So why should you care and waste your freaking money on them products, right? Why should you buy a comic book, right? That is a piece of crap. Why don't you, as a reader, as a fan, like I am, like for 35 odd years, decide if this is how they're going to treat me, this is how they treat these characters, which I've loved for decades or whatever long, however long you have, right? And they're going to do this with them. Why go in? It's like cut off your addiction, right? I had that with cigarettes for freaking about 20 odd years, right? I went cold turkey, because I was like, well, I don't need this anymore. But it's like, I'm stressing out, I can't read it. No, I mean, smoke it. No, and the first couple of months will be hard, but you can shift. And that's why I say, like, you can shift and buy a indie comic, right? Support Kickstarters, support other creators, support us, right? Jump onto Rising Sun Comics and check out what they've got, right? Check out what Nairobi's got. Depending on what your age group, what you are into, sci-fi, fantasy, horror, it's all there in the indie scene. You do not have to waste your money on this crap, right? By writers like Joshua Williamson and people, like him over there, right? In Marvel and DC, and waste all your friggin' hard-earned money on trash because of FOMO, because of fear of missing out, right? Because you've done it for so long. You're addicted to comics that's trash because you've been reading for those comics for so long. I remember stop buying and reading Amazing Spider-Man after one more day, right? It was it. I was like, I'd got into it because JMS was writing it, and then basically he'd done this amazing writing, and then here comes Joe Quesada and ruins the whole thing, right? Brings in the devil, Mephisto, and ruins their marriage just so that what's her name? Because I've got those comics here, right? And I'm like, and I was like, nah, I'm out. And that's like about 20 odd years ago, and so I turned to other stuff, and I started going, okay, I want to read Garth Ennis. I want to go read Hellblazer. I want to go Batman, right? Because I just didn't want it anymore. I don't want writers trying to decide that this is how we're going to ruin these characters and everybody's going to be fine with it, right? How long did it take for Amazing Spider-Man to come back and be good again? Took the movies to do that, didn't it? Then the comics didn't do it. But I mean, I remember the first time I saw Spider-Man was like the original movie, like 1970s movie, in Fiji on a VHS tape with my mate, and I wanted to be Spider-Man. So I made me a friggin', web shooter out of a piece of timber and a nail bent over, right? And so, when you have people like this go out purposefully at these, at Marvel and DC, go out there to troll you. Do you like being trolled by comic creators and artists and these writers? Do you like that feeling of being trolled? Do you like that feeling of being slapped in your face and say, you must accept this trash that I'm writing and that's enough? Just keep giving your money. It's one of the things like, gosh, it reminds me of two songs like Send Me Your Money, right? By Suicidal Tendencies. And then also Letter to H or something like Harry something from Tool. Was it Tool or I think it was Tool? We're talking like you sold out and stuff. And he goes, no, but you're buying all the stuff. Just keep buying, just keep buying, And I think this is why, we're at a stage where these professional comic people think they can get away with it because you and I, until recently, just keep buying that crap. And so they think, we will keep buying it. Like, I mean, I remember the last one I bought was the racist Miles Morales, right? What If comic, right? Where he's Thor. What if he was Thor? I bought it just because it was had so much racism in it, so I could hold it up one day and go, "This is what comics was right at that time," right? And like when you go to 2015, you can hold up all these things where they went, Hawkeye is female now, and she's still called Hawkeye, and Wolverine's has a female version of Wolverine, and she's still called Wolverine, even though we have a male Wolverine, Logan, right? Original. And so, I mean, at least with Gwenpool, right? Deadpool, which is why I like Gwenpool, they actually changed the name, right? And that was, of course, like a kind of like a throwaway thing with the cover and everything, which is beautiful. And, which is the only, I think it's the only character out of the 2015s that I actually think had anything legit about it, that redid that entire storyline and everything. That's why I actually think that character is great, and they should do something great with it, you know. But they don't wanna, right? But like, so as long as you and I have a fear of missing out, or or not having that issue in our collection, or not completing the collection, they'll keep putting out trash. They'll keep trolling us, and we'll keep buying their crap, right? Like this one, right? And it didn't sell, right? When people are happy, they spend less. That's why, right? It sucks, but it is a pattern that I've seen in my time at DC, right? So they want you to be miserable, and you'll buy more. That is their. It's like, wait. So if people are happy, they buy less. Is that so? So because the finances say that, So let's make people miserable so they'll buy more. What are you? Are you freaking? Are you a what do you call it? Are you a serial killer type person? Is that your evilness in you that, like, hey, well, let's make people miserable so they'll buy more product? And that's why, like I said, last year I walked out, and I'm walked away completely. If I'm going to buy a comic, it's going to be old, right? I'm not going to. I'd rather spend money on old comics, and of course indie comics, right, from smaller creators, than spend money on my favorite comics now, right? So, I mean, I even sound repetitive to myself, but I mean, I want you guys to turn to indie comics. I want you guys to support indie creators, because we're not trolling you. We're not trying to make you miserable so you buy more comics. We're trying to make you happy, enjoy, and have fun reading our comics, right? And be part of something that's new and different and exciting. And if you don't like that comic, you can always put it down and buy another one. There isn't 10,000, 100 others you have to buy to fill up that hole, right? But I think, I'm just, like after 35 years, I'm just so tired of this. Of they're deciding that that the way to sell comics is to make people miserable, right? Because then we'll think up. So this is one of the most recent ones here, right? And of course the most iconic dumb thing ever, right? And if you know anything about me, anyway. So I just think, like, all this is just trash. It's trash laziness, but it's not lazy anymore, because here's the expose, right? This is what it is. It's on purpose. It's not about them being lazy. It's them about trying to make money for the, like, give you a dopamine hit, right? Because everybody's talking about, I'm even talking about it, but I'm not talking about to go buy it. I'm talking about to get you off the dopamine hit, right? I'm trying to get you off your addiction, right? Stop being addicted to trash, right? It's like, friggin', why would you want to do fentanyl when you can just have a happy life, just having a couple drinks, right? Why would you want to get yourself addicted to bad comics when you could enjoy yourself, just reading some good stuff, and at the end of the day, right, it's just it's not just about, oh, I want to piss people off, he goes, right. He then talked about putting characters on roller coasters and vague statements about his writing style. That's what it is, like lots of words. Let's use lots of words, because then you get confused. But really, at the end of the day, it's about this. They want to piss you off because when you come back up here, people buy less when they're happy. So those two put together makes all the sense in the world. They want to piss you off so that you would buy more comics. Are you pissed off enough, right, at them to not buy their comics? Because right now they feel happy in their position to piss you off on purpose, to do all this trash on purpose, to ruin characters on purpose, right? It's all on purpose. Because otherwise they can't sell comics unless they piss you off. So if you like being pissed and having those people troll you, then you're more than welcome to it. But if you want happy and enjoy comics, turn to the light side, right? Whatever, turn to the indies, the punk rock when it comes to comic book creation, right? Where they, anything goes, right? You could read a mature comic that's new with new characters. Get your fix of LBGT, whatever, right? The rainbow, right? It's there. You don't have to have these people ruining original characters that they never had a hand in creating, and then race swap, bait you in to buy it, and then like gender swap and everything else with it, right? Because you're so used to it, because they can't sell comics otherwise. Have you seen any of these? Like a lot of these guys, have they, without clickbaiting you, without like bait and switching you, have they actually made any decent indie comics for themselves, right? And it's like without their name, out there, they wouldn't be able to do this. So, at the end of the day, look, it's up to you. Do you want to have them piss you off all the time and still buy their comics? Your hard-earned money, right? You guys play a couple bucks over in the US, but it's about $10 for a comic here, or $12, right? And most of the time it's like 8 pages of ads in it. And 60%, maybe 70% of the time, inside art is very bad. And the writing's even worse, right? So, it's up to you. I'm going to leave it with that, right? So you've got the link there. You can read the rest of it. But that's on that. I'm going to do something happy because I don't want you guys to be miserable at me for talking about this sort of stuff all the time. So let's have a look at a trailer. So this is... Wow, it just came up straight away. So this is... Are we on? Let's make sure. Yep, we're there. So this is Justice League. Infinite Crisis.
Most of you are aware that you live in a reality parallel to many versions of your universe. I've gathered you all to save your worlds.
That does not look good.
You got that right. The threat is real. I was on one of the Earths that was swallowed by this wave.
Well, who we have here?
I come from a parallel Earth. We look down on supervillains.
Welcome our newly formed team of heroes.
The Justice League.
Drained the power from them. Thank you, Justice League.
Something's about to happen. Something major.
I am Harbinger.
This is the thing.
Yeah, I figured.
You each possess the skills, strength, and speed to save your universe.
Great Scott.
What's happening?
The universe, it's all vanishing.
Look!
This is it. I won't let you go.
Is it as bad as it looks?
Yes.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So Yeah, I think it's just Joshua Williamson who wrote that series. Oh no, that's no, sorry, he's on Dark Crisis. So this is Infinity Justice League Crisis on Infinity Earths Part 1. And I'm excited about this because let me just find this. Gosh, I've got this thing there. I can't even see past it. So hold on. There goes Superman. So here's thing for it. Like, so it's just come out, by the way. And it's at 6.6. It's available on digital, like you can, like, I guess you can watch it through YouTube or something, or, you know, streaming. So what I like about this right from the start, it's 3 parts, which means that they actually decided to do a decent job on this. I was disappointed about Injustice because Injustice is a huge arc, right? It's an amazing series, and they just went and made one movie out of it, hour and a half or something. And I was really disappointed that they didn't put enough effort into it. Because I love Justice League. Injustice. I've got the #1 comics. I read like about the first 3 years or something, or 2-3 years. Yeah, I need to complete that. And then also I have the game. That was like I think that was the first game I bought. I'm not sure. I might have bought it in 2014 or something like that. But I have that, right? Because I actually might play that today. I haven't played games for ages, so you know, like you guys know that I talk about it, how I have heaps of games. I have a PS2 and I have an Xbox 360, but I don't play it because I'm always like doing other stuff. So I'm quite excited about this. So the thing here is like the Anti-Monitor, the Monitor's evil counterpart, is released in the DC multiverse. Yeah, and begins to destroy the different Earths that compose it. The Monitor attempts to recruit heroes, so that the actual, you know, not the Anti-Monitor, the Monitor attempts to recruit heroes from across the multiverse, but is murdered. Pretty heavy for, you know, like a kid's thing, right? But this is a PG, so 13 plus. Kids understand that. I mean, 13-year-olds understand it. So this is directed by Jeff Warmester. So let's go have a look what Jeff Warmester. So he's worked on Guardians of the Galaxy TV series. He's done about 76 episodes on there as an animation department. He did Beware My Power. I actually kind of like Beware My Power, right? It was like this one here. I mean, it wasn't great. You know, great is around about 7, 8. I think great is 8. Right, 7 I can give or take. Like, I mean, sometimes if I like the work that's been put in, you know, I give it a 7. But like, you know, 6. But I mean, you know, the art style was pretty cool. So, you know, it was, you know. Then you had like also Warworld, right? So he did Warworld, and he's the director on this. And you know, I can't remember if I've seen this, but like, you know, that didn't do well. So like, it's kind of average. His work is around average, and I'm not sure if it's got if it's because of people, you know, people like me going, you know, it should have been fleshed out more. There should have been more effort put in to tell the story better. But as you know, like, I mean, there is always a comic, right, which I've learned from, you know, from Greg Rucka, right, and speaking to him in person. He said, you've got this, you know, that is that is that, you know, and so forth. And so, you know, the other one he worked on, which I liked, right, like you can see, it's an 8. I gave it an 8, The Long Halloween. But he did the art department on that, so he didn't direct it. So Chris Palmer directed this one, right? And if you've seen it, you know, hopefully you liked it. But I liked it. You know, I like both of them. Got an 8. Like I said, it was great. It wasn't like excellent. It was great. But yeah, you know, so he, you know, that's Chris Palmer, right? So let's get back to. So he, you know, he's basically in the art department but he has done a feature before, which is, you know, Justice League World and Green Lantern. Now, I don't know how they, you know, because it's streaming, right, and digital downloads and stuff. I don't know how they, how the fund. I mean, like, you know, because it's Warner Brothers, right? So it'll be on HBO or that, or what is like Plus. So they don't have any like budget for it. It only came out yesterday for us, right? So in the US it'll be today for you guys, I think. But like, so it's out, right? Online. So let's see. Right. So the featured review says it's a terrible disappointment. So it's with these things, I always like to watch them. Like I'm like, I like that my animation. I like my DC animation, and I will always watch it because I think at least DC does them, like the feature films. I just wish they do a better job with it, and they follow what's in the comic book, because just like like they do in manga, which is why manga is so good, why people still watch the anime, why the anime, because as I say, right, as one of my mates, like YouTube, internet fans, right, says, Black Sage D, he says like the anime is the promotion tool for the manga. So they, so it's basically, so it's like almost 1-to-1. And that's why we get upset when localizers don't do that 1-to-1, right? And we're going to watch a thing by Chibi on that later. So, because that thing's just blowing up. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Like I said, there's 3 parts, and I'm quite excited because it's got 3 parts. So the actors on this is you got Alexandra Daddario, pretty hot, right? Love her eyes, and Square Jaw is pretty cool as well. Like, so she, quite a beautiful lady. Actress, producer, soundtrack. So Alexandra Daddario, is doing Lois Lane. You've got Matt Boomer as Flash. I'm glad, the other person isn't Flash, from the Flash movie. So, Matt Boomer, he's doing Flash. And then also you've got, where's Batman? You got Batman as Jensen Ackles. So Jensen Ackles is basically, has become the torchbearer after, Kevin, right? And I think it's great. He does amazing voices for, are they playing the same one? His Batman sounds good. I don't like it how,
I don't know what's going on.
how they don't like you can't go, oh, this is what that scene is, like a little image comes up. So are we on the right one? Yeah. So this is Battle World, is it?
Something isn't right.
Yeah, War World.
I don't know what's going on.
I need.
To find a way back.
Yes. What to wear?
Oh, I did watch it. I did enjoy it.
What can
I
you
thought it
tell
was
us
cool.
about this wizard? I could take you to his castle. Beyond that, you're the ones intent on dying.
It was interesting.
Run.
Because I don't remember reading it, which is why I found it interesting.
She's an angel. Come to save us all.
Never seen anyone fight like that. You're a wonder.
We have to kill them before they kill us. It's the only way to stop their invasion. Ket, you said you wanted to prove yourself. This is the time.
Evil is as unstoppable as the rain.
So it's got Warlord in it.
We fight for those that can.
That's him there. And it's got Jonah Hex.
That stands against
So you got the Western side. There you go. Yeah, so I'm like, for me, I like watching 3D animation, animated movies. I just let, like in my head, I just let them be what they are.
War World.
So if you haven't seen that, like it's not, it isn't great, but if you want, if you want to watch an animated DC thing, based on a comic book, you'll get that. So Jensen Ackles as Batman is the new Batman voice, and of course you got Stannis Katek has been chosen, as like the Wonder Woman. I think sometimes she does other voices as well, but kind of like the key. And I think I like the idea of these guys, like keeping the same same people doing the voices. So where's Superman? And you got Darren Chris as Superman. So I'm not sure if he's done other voices or if this is his first. Oh yeah, he did Warworld. So yeah, and also Legend of Superheroes, and he's an actor as well, but he's done other stuff. But I kind of think like once they get their standard voice people, it'll be cool to keep them, right? And and also Hal Jordan is Nolan North, right? So he's been in a few as well. Let me see. Yeah, so where's he in the other ones? Oh no, he's in new. Oh yeah, no, here he is, Cosmic Chaos. But he's in the game, so he's probably been. This must be his first one, I think, for DC, like actual animated things. So that's pretty cool. Like I said, this is interesting. Hopefully when I get time to watch it, I'll enjoy it. And I'm not sure when the second and third part's coming out, so let's have a look. So I think this is the second one. Yep. Oh, this is the third part. So there's no description when it's coming out. But I like like I said, I do watch them because, for me, I like animation because it's just I've always loved animations and cartoons and stuff. And so this part do no date for that either. So maybe they'll stagger it through the year, or maybe it's going to take them another 2 years or something to do it. But whatever the case, hopefully, it's because they're doing it over three parts. It's done. The story's told better, right? So yeah. Now let's pop out from that, and since we're doing the, looking at, let me find out here. Since we're on animation, that's what I was going to say. Let's have a look at Solo Leveling. All right, so hopefully this is English subs, but and let's stop there. Pause. Add to screen. And this will be the last one, and we'll go into toys and stuff.
今から十数年前、突如として異次元とこちらを結ぶゲートと呼ばれる通路が出現し、世界中で常識を超える出来事が起こり始めた。戦うことのできる能力に覚醒した者たちをハンターと呼んだ。
今日もよろしくお願いします。
あの兄ちゃんは別で人類最弱兵器だ。
まさか意地張ってハンターを続けてるんじゃないですよね。
いいんです。俺が弱すぎるだけですし、家族の中で働けるのも俺だけ。俺には金がいるんだ。行きます。
シーヌさん、あの大きな石像、私たちのことを見てたんです。
みんな捨てて！ふざけんなよ！聞いてねえぞ。俺が知るか！
何が起きてるんだ。
殺される。まだ生き残るんだ、絶対に。俺なりに頑張ってここまで生きてきたんだ。もう一度チャンスがあれば。
チョンジヌハンター、あなた覚醒後の覚醒をしたんじゃありませんか。
覚醒後の覚醒、まさかこれ俺にしか見えないのか。
もっと体を大事にしてよ。めちゃくちゃ心配したでしょ。
行くか。装備は整えて、やるべきこともやった。本当にパーティーもなし、俺一人でボスを。けどやるしかないんだ。
どうすりゃいいんだよ。弱いからあんなあだ名までつけられる。弱いから舐められるんだよ。熱く戦おうぜ。生きている限りこの上なきゃあって強くなれるのならこのふざけたルールにだって従ってやれ。
And it's like isekai, right? It's a gaming isekai, and I'm actually creating an isekai story right now. you know, and so I'm looking forward to this because of that. So let's have a look at. Let me bring up information about this, right? So let's go to their. Is it like wiki? Yeah, so it's a webtoon series, right? So the wiki is going to tell me more than, you know, probably the, you know, Wikipedia will tell me. So the wiki for Solo Leveling, right? So it goes, who is it? What's the guy's name? Chugong, right? Chugong. You can see here. So now they've just got art there. So let me just see if there's they'll be like right to the manga cover. Yeah, so it was serialized. So this thing was actually serialized, right? The series started as a unpublished novel in February 2014, right, which ended originally with 14 volumes and 270 chapters. It was later published in 2015, and the novel was serialized with 270 chapters in October 10, 2018. So it's been only around about 8, you know, it's taken them 6 years, right? But if you look, it's not really, it's taken them 10 years. If you really think about it, you know, the guy who wrote it over, you know, 10 years ago. And so within that year, you know, he worked really hard. If you really think about it, it's 270 chapters. You know, I think it was like about, it's like 15 pages, I think it is. It's like 2 pages a day they do. Yeah, it's about 15 or 20 pages or something per chapter. I need to really look into that. It was later published, right? So it goes, and then in 2018, in Cacao Page, a new chapter is unlocked after every 12 hours. So, wow. All right, so then Crunchyroll said it was going to work with A1 Pictures at Anime Expo 2022 into it, you know, make it an anime. The series will be simulcast worldwide on the Crunchyroll streaming service, blah, blah, blah. All right, but, you know, after Solo Leveling manga's outstanding sales, right, they decided to work on this. And it's also in Hindi, right? So here's the thing. Manga is getting translated into different languages because it's so popular. You know, I mean, of course, comics has done that as well, but manga is a new thing to Hindi, right? And you know there's 1 billion Indians around. Was it 2? I can't remember, right? But there's a lot. And so, you know, you're going to, you know, so far you've got like about 10 volumes. So you're looking about 192 chapters. What else was I looking at just before? So this is a very popular work, right? Let's go to WikiWiki, right? So Solo Leveling also alternatively translated as only I Level Up Korean. So there's a Korean webtoon, right? That's free, basically, you know. And then, you know, of course, Yen Press went and put into licensed in English by Yen Press, Cacao Page, you know, digital platform, and Papyrus, and DNC Media under the Papyrus label published it, right? So then they had a webtoon adaptation, was serialized by Cacao in 2018. So this is kind of like a, you know, kind of like someone who's worked so hard for 10, you know, almost 10 years, right? And has worked and made it, now it's become an animation. But when you really think about it, you know, 2014 to 2017. So, you know, it's something I would love to see, something that I've done, like get within 5 years have something like that happen with, you know. But I mean, it is what it is. Like, but like, you know, it was just sitting there, right? They said, like he said, you know, hadn't done anything to it, and then suddenly the popularity of it gets picked up, and now you've got this, and now you get to see just, you know, the anime of it. But like we've said previously, why anime is more successful. And I'm going to do a clip of the live stream that we did where I've talked about that, so you guys can see that. And here I'll just tell you, the shortest thing is this: one person's creating it. That's their vision, right? He knows what he's going to do with the character, and whatever he does with the character, it's his thing. right? Or her thing. There isn't other people going, do this, do that, do this, do that. Maybe somebody might go critique, hey, do that. However, it's him or her, or maybe it's two people. And that's why they get tired out of all that exhaustion, right? And we know that they work really hard. So the vision stays singular. And that's why I like myself. I like to keep, when I'm creating something, I like to keep my finger on the pulse and do it singular. I'll take some critique and I'll, rejig stuff and all that. But the vision stays singular. And I think that's why manga is beating, hands down, animation. Western comics like Marvel and DC, because of that. And not only that, but because these guys are testing out their work out there on Webtoons, on Cacao Page, right, on other platforms, and people are liking it or not liking it. They'll write their suggestions because the chapter gets up and they go, oh, I enjoyed this, or I didn't, or maybe you change that, or maybe not. And it's up to the writer to say so. They're not doing what Joshua Williamson's was talking about, where they do it on purpose to piss you off. The guy has a vision and he's going to create that vision, right? And I think that's why, that's why manga is winning. If you want that, one single answer, that's it. Singular vision. Loyal to your art form. Whereas like all these guys are working for somebody else and they're messing with them whatever they want. It's like, oh, we'll do this time. Okay, go on, then do it. And then bait and switch and clickbait you, troll you into buying their product. But yeah, if you, it's awesome. Like, seeing something like this, like, it always gives me hope. I'm hoping that, that what I write would also have some sort of effect on people who they want to follow and want to come out and read it and support it. And maybe someday it'll become something more. Like my dream is like have action figures of my, of my characters, right? Because that means I've arrived. The moment somebody, if I make enough money to be able to do that, that's the day, and it's packaged and looks beautiful. Just like my comic now, it's in print, like it's in color. I've arrived as a comic publisher, right? Or as a creator, because it's in color now. It's full and it's got the best art, by the greatest artists that I can get a hand on, and the colorist and all that, and it's out there, and then I hope, and soon when we get enough money, whatever publisher, it'll be out in the shops. There's about 60 shops or something that will be able to have my product in, or my characters, my comic, whatever. And that's great. That's something that I'm looking forward to. Right. So let's talk about some, last year, I picked up some really, really old, and I know, I'm not that fussy when it comes to touching my comics, right? Because, like without gloves and stuff, but I think I might get some, just, maybe. But I have found some really old comics, a box of them. They were donated to Salvation Army, and I don't have enough money, as I would have with the entire thing. But I bought a handful, right? So I think they were done at like about $10 each, $1 each, or $2 each, and I bought about 10, right? So I bought 10 of them. So this is it's a comic book created for girls, schoolgirls, right? So schoolgirl picture library, right? So they have stories in here like Rally to Catherine, right? Got Moira's Magic Talisman. So it's aimed at females, right? And this is from, Fleetway Publications. Fleetway is the same people that used to Judge Dredd, right? So they used to do Judge Dredd, and so you got amazing. Look at the amazing art in here. Look at that, right? And the speech bubbles and so on. And it's only about 3-4 panels per page, but the detail, right? Detail in the bricks and stuff. That's something I've been looking at because I'm doing a book, but like the second half of the book is based in like a castle and so on. Apologies again for that. I don't know why everybody seems to like think at the same time. But yeah, so you've got that. Then you got the Invisible Schoolgirl. You know, I should say when these came out. So there's a price on this, right? Judy's in there as well as against June, I should say. So, and the girl who reads Jude. Gay as a summer's day, right? Gay, as you know, is happy, right? Now, please turn for Patty's page. Look at that. Right. So this is a comic specifically made for schoolgirls, right? For young, teenagers, young, older teenagers, and there's some full-on stories, full-on artwork. Just amazing. Now I've said about dates and stuff, right? So let me find some dates in here. Gosh, if I can find it, because is it on the cover? All of these have got the name Perry on them. So I wonder if Perry owned them, or if the shopkeeper put Perry's name on there and said, "Hey, this is for Perry," right? And of course, Perry can be a female name, so I don't know what the detail there is. But this came out in oh, I can't see the date on this. This is weird. It tells you where it's made and everything. So printed in England and published each month in Fleetway Publication by Fleetway Publications Limited, Fleetway House, Farrington Street, London, EC4. Sole agents, Australasia. So it came to New Zealand. That's why I got a hold of it, because somebody here, and I guess it's in the 50s or 60s. But I mean, 5D. But I mean, it's weird because like it just gives you numbers. I don't see like date on it. Oh no, I see. So the date is right over here, and as you can see, it says 19 something, and the year, and it's been, the rust has got into it. Let me see if I've got another one that doesn't have the rust getting into it. 1962. So I can just make it out on this one. Right, just over here. Can just make it out. So this is number 80. So it's got, and this is, so the 1962 is number 80. And so 76, same year, right? 62. Now there's other ones I've got like 96. So this could be, if it comes out every month, and that's like 10 years earlier, right? So 12 issues. So yeah, this would be like 50s. And of course the wear and tear shows that, right? But look, look at the cover. So John of the Jungle, right? Jean, right? And this is 1960. So yeah, 1960. So what I want to do is there's a professor, there's a gentleman named Professor who, who's a hardcore collector, right? Like really hardcore. So I'm going to get him talking about comics, and I'm going to show him these, and by that time I'm going to get white gloves because I don't want to piss him off. But like, I've got comics here from 1960s for girls, and that's called From England, right? So recently recently by I mean like last year or the year before, I picked up this from a hospice shop. As you can see the price, I always hate when they put price on the front. Why? She just put it on the back. So this is called Roasted, a comic strip about stuff. So the reason I picked this up is because we also do a three-panel comic strip, right? And I'll bring that up so you guys can see that, because it's for free. So you can read it for free on our why can't I see our, there it is, on our website, right? So on plungecomics.com, you can go and actually read them for free. It's called PJ and Chibi, and because I love cartoons, like I said before, like comic strips and stuff. So this is PJ and Chibi, and you guys can actually go and read it for free if you want, right? And and you got 3 panel strips here. It's an anthropomorphic animals living in New Zealand. So you've got a grizzly bear from was it grizzly bear? It's polar bear. I think it's a polar bear. Let me just have a look at them. Yeah, I colored them in. I think he's a polar bear. I've got to make sure. But I can't remember. But like grizzly bear, polar bear, and a rabbit family, right? So you can see here and living in New Zealand. So you got a rabbit family from the guys from the black sheep is from Australia, and then you've got the family here, PJ and Shibi. PJ is the father, Shibi is the daughter, and so you got like a older teenage daughter who's just leaving high school and is going into the world and so on, looking for job and work and stuff. So it's like it's a very socio-political kind of themed kind of like a modern day interpretation of society and stuff, what's going on currently. So I haven't worked on it for about a year. So we've got about 17 odd comics strips out. So you can read that. And then I'm supposed to finish up another, dozen or so, and again, finish it. And then color it and then put it in a book out like this, which is my aim, to be able to put it out like to do a really cool, colored version of it out there, and hardcover for take it to Kickstarter. But I just haven't finished it. I had another friend of mine write a couple of stories, and I haven't released them yet because I wanted to do a whole bunch and then release them all together. So Michael Mead, right? So I'm hoping that he'll write some more, and I've asked other people to come on and write it, but I'm not sure if they have the time or not. But hopefully I get some time and finish it. But I'm writing so many stuff at the moment, and getting the time to do it, and concentrating on one thing, and then and then finding the time to do another thing, it can be a bit too much, because you've got to be in the right mindset to be able to get out there and work on something, especially if, like something like this, which is more political center. It's not like like fantasy things, and so on. You got to make sure everything works right, and you're in the right mindset to do it. And me, I'll visit it soon, but I was going to visit it this year, but just not working because I'm writing this other series, a couple other series, I should say. But do please check it out, PJ and Shibi. It's on plungecomics.com, and that's our website. So let me put that up. So if you are just watching the screen and not the chat, you'll be able to see that. So it's of course, this page is the link is always in our description, so not most of the time, right, unless I forget, so it's there. But yeah, and the artwork is awesome. I love the artwork that Konstantinos Petroselos did on that. Now I want to show, so actually I might bring that up soon to talk about as well. And they're getting into no. So let me get rid of this so we can talk about this. So this is called The Whale. This is a hardcover book that I picked up from, it's an ex-library book that I picked up because I love the pencil work on this. Now, this is a really, really good, really good, really, really awesome, amazing illustrated hardcover book. It's by Ethan and Vita Morrow. Right, so so the work is amazing, right? Now, what it's for me, what would really send this off for me is because as a reader, right, would be like it would be that it would hit text on it, right? So they almost look like photos being pencil thing, right? I mean rendered, right? Drawn, illustrated. There's some really, really good, images in here. However, I wish there was a story in it, especially because it's like a kid's book. And kids, right? This is weird. And kids like to read, right? If this just looking at pictures can get boring. That's why comics work so well, especially for boys, right? Get them into reading and stuff. I mean, like I said, the art is amazing, but no text. So you got a whole book of so much, amazing illustrations, but nothing to engage the reader in, because what is a book? A book's meant to be read, right? And what is it like? Clive Barker, the horror writer, says like each one of us is like a book, and when we're opened, right, we're all read inside, right? So it's, like you got some amazing art here, and you got lots of great areas. I mean, imagine this being a comic book, right? Having speech bubbles and stuff. And not only that, but there's a light novel, so you have a little bit of text there saying the story and stuff. So for me, that I bought it because of the art, it only cost me a couple of bucks because it's an ex-library book. And, and I felt that was, valuable to me in its own because of the art illustrations in it. Now, I bought this a little while ago. This is Johnny Mnemonic, the William Gibson, Keanu Reeves movie. But William Gibson, did he? I don't know if he did the. This is a script book, by the way, not the actual novel, but this is a script book for the thing. So you got photos in it and stuff like that, and from the actual movie and stuff. Is that Dolph Lundgren in there? Yeah, that's Dolph Lundgren. I didn't even remember Dolph Lundgren being in Johnny Mnemonic, right? So I picked this up probably about 20 years ago when I was doing my filmmaking course, because I was like, learning how to write scripts. So it's a script book, right? Tells you, what happens where. And this is kind of like how I base my scripts. But this is for like a movie. So when it comes to comic script, the way I write it, the name goes in the center, not to the side, right? You got here. So for me, it's all the center. So description, so you got your description, what's going to happen. So it goes like, here's a shot, here goes as we reverse and so on. As we reverse dizzyingly through the computer animations that have constituted cyberspace, boxes refolding and jumping back into boxes. Jane goes, voiceover. Let's go, okay? Johnny, voiceover. No, I'm going to try something else. Guy called Strike. We move. And then I think this is like description. We move through cyberspace again. So it's pretty cool. I like having, that's why I like collecting script books, because you see how it's done there. And sometimes if you're a new writer or something, especially to comic books, everybody has their own style. And I only stick to one style, right? Because that's what I know. I mean, that's how I've done it. So I don't change my style of how I write the books. How I write my scripts. So that way, I just send it. And weird thing is, like, when I convert it to PDFs, it gets all messed up. But it's fine. So this is the book that fell down, right? So this is a hardcover of one of my favorite comics. And by the way, it's a signed comic. It's a signed graphic novel hardcover. So I think, from what I remember, it never came with somehow when I bought it, because I bought it off an auction, right? Trade me like eBay for overseas people. So this is a limited. This edition of Rising Stars leather bound hardback is a limited edition signed by creator and writer Michael J. Straczynski. This edition is number 517 in a total print of 1,500. So there you go. So I have every single issue of this series, Rising Stars, in floppy. Right. So I have a lithograph. A lithograph is a hard paper, right? So it's like a special paper, a print of it. It's about this big. So that cost me around about, gosh, I can't remember how much it cost me, but all of these, especially this one, leather bound, cost me a bit. But I've been after the action figures, because I didn't know until a long time later because when I got into this was when they were just re-releasing, like he'd come back to finish it for Joe's Comics with Image for Top Cow, and that's how I heard about it. It's like, oh, he's done that, because I'm a huge Babylon 5 fan, and so when he did that, I was like, oh, I want to, what, get me everything. So I was back ordering all the 18 issues plus all the minis and everything. So I have a container, plastic container full of all JMS books. That's how much I like his work, and so you've got that, you got posters in here. I think there's some back matter. No, there's no back matter in this one, but there's, each covers for each issue is there, for and it's kind of like a newsprint comic cover, like the same sort of like paper, so I should say, that they use in the actual comic. It feels like that. But this is, it's one of my treasures, because I love the series so much. So that's that. Like I said, I bought it about 20 years ago. So what should we do? So I am going to show off a couple double ups, right? So this is my comic book that I've double ups of, right? So this is like I think it's the first appearance of like the Inhumans. They're, average. Both of them are like one's better condition than the other, so they're kind of average condition. But it's the first appearance, and one's a bit, one's in a fair condition and one's in a good condition. So I have that, and then I also have the first issue of 1990s and 2 copies of it, of Guardians of the Galaxy. Once again, one's in a better condition than the other. One's got a price tag on it, or both of them's got a price tag on it, which is kind of stink, right? They got a pencil and ballpoint pen price on this cover, and this one's got it in the friggin' title, right? So you go about 1990s, right? This is when like Image Comics was popping off. So you've got that, but one of the older ones I've got here is a Brave and the Bold, and this is Aquaman and Adam. And since like Aquaman's at the movies right now, I thought I would pop this out. So this is issue number 73, and of course the Fantastic Four was number 99, June 99, right? Issue, not June 99, but like issue number 99 from gosh, I don't know what year that's out at. Weird, because this one's actually got another friggin' writing up here, penciled or whatever, ink. Don't know why it's there. So now these are both, like, if you know anything about comic collecting, both of these Guardians of the Galaxy ones are newsprint. So newsprints end up being a bit more, bit more dearer than your regular direct comics. Direct issue, which is like they give it to like the stores or something. Well, this one is actually at the newsstand. And so, like at the corner store where they have newspaper, and that's a little cubby hole type thing. They're especially made for them. So I've got that. And like, yeah, so the Brave and the Bold is interesting because all of these ones I bought at auction, right? So they're like private, kind of like goes online, I buy it. And so not from any stores and stuff. So, but, there's a cool seeing that. And if I remember right, this was kind of like in the Aquaman thing. I might be wrong, but yeah. But then let's open up a toy, right? So let's open a toy and then we'll finish off here because should we do this one? Actually, no, we'll do this one because I need the heads off this one, right? Because one of the things is like I've got a whole lot of figures without heads because last year I bought a special, private purchase where I bought a lot of figures, but they didn't have heads because the gentleman who I bought them off likes to make up his own like characters according to gaming and stuff. So he just wanted the heads off them so he could put on like particular figures, right? And so, I should say this is Pyro and Rogue It says Marvel's Pyro and Marvel's Rogue. Two Marvel Legends 2-piece set. You got beautiful art on the back, so it's quite a good set. I mean, you know, like the artwork's really good on these. You know, that looks pretty cool. So you could just basically turn around and show that box. So I'm not going to get rid of the boxes. You know, I don't always pop out my boxes or throw them away or anything like that. So you got a little information about the plastic and, you know, vinyl, whatever. And you've got the X-Men logo on the back of the box. Now, I was just thinking if I've got, yeah, I actually got this head on a figure that I got that you know, from Star Wars. Like as I mentioned before, like, you know, I bought like about 10 or 20 of these figures with no heads because the guy I bought it off was using the heads for something else. But I was able to get this head of another toy collector here in New Zealand, you know, that I deal with, and so I was able. I just go, oh, well, that one doesn't have a head. Oh, let's put this head on it. Suits it, you know. So now we're going to look. That's the same head as this. So now I've got, you know, set of heads there. But now I've got two spare heads that I can put on another two characters that I have. So you've got this set here, and we can have a look at that and see how that goes. Because I can't remember where I put the bag, you know, the bag of figures I've got. Now, oh yeah, so you don't have to actually, unlike the McFarlane ones, right? Like these ones, you don't have to like tie them out. You know, this like cut out and tie them out. This one just pops out. There you go. Strato just popped out. This side. So that's Rogue. I've always liked Rogue, and it's one character like that southern, you know, that southern accent you hear and everything. I love how she spoke. You know. Oh, there you go. So the heads actually have a bit of tie to it. So I've got to be careful if that's the only one. Yep, that's the only one. So you get two, you know, so you get two sets of heads. So you got one where she's angry, where she's probably just stolen Captain Marvel's, you know, Captain Marvel's powers, and then you know, where she's hanging out with Wolverine and Logan, just chilling, right? And of course, she's got two sets of hands as well. So you've got one her doing like just you know, just that one there where she's just holding her fist, you know, making a fist, I should say, not holding a fist. And then you've got ones where she's doing her power, you know, sort of thing, gloves off, right? Which is kind of weird because like both of them have their gloves on. Would be cool if she had one without the gloves off, just to show that she, you know, sometimes she takes them off because she does that. But like, of course, you know that like her power is like by touching, so she can steal powers by touching, which is why I mentioned like, you know, she stole Captain Marvel's powers and with her butt. So Pyro has these two flame hands, right? So in that, it's a bigger figure, so you can see between the two of them, you know, there's more to him than her. So she's got a backpack with a fire thing, you know, gas, whatever. And of course, like he's got that other head that I showed you, which, you know, which is the same as that. Oh, I'm holding the wrong ones. Oh, there you go. So it's the same head as that one I used there. On that head, on that body. I can't remember who that character is, but I've got like, I don't know who this character is, but I've got another bigger 12-inch figure of him, like about 30 centimeter. So you can see what he looks like there. So, oh yeah, so that I was wondering what that was in there. Then I realized that actually goes in there. That's why it's the holes there. Now, so let's put those two away. But like, so this one here, right? So is that the right hand? Just gonna make sure if he's in the right. So, oh yeah. So he's got the flames on the hand, so you can put the two flames on it, or just have the one. So he doesn't come with any spare hands because he's got the flame, right? Let's see if that's stopping there. Okay, you just got to make sure that you fit it in a certain way, because I mean everything, you know, for all that band's body and everything, the usual Marvel Legends setup, But I was just thinking, because you got to do this the right way, because this is going to hit the back of the flames as you try to put it in. So you got to make sure the fist is in the right place. Same on the other side as well. So there you go. And it falls off, so I'll pick that up in a minute. But like, you know, I guess you got to really squeeze it in so it doesn't fall off. So, you know, move it around, do whatever you want, heads turn, all the usual suspects, right, when it comes to these things. So you got the upper body. I'm not sure if this comes off, but I'm sure, you know, yeah. So this, you know, whatever they call it, the shoulder pads comes off, so you can take the whole thing off, and so on. Now I'm going to grab that big figure of this so you guys can see what it's supposed to do. And it's this dude there, right? So this is supposed to be this guy, and I don't know who this guy is supposed to be, right? So if you know in chat, let me know. I have no idea who, you know. As you can see, it's the same, you know, same figure. But the weird thing is it me or is it the opposite? Oh no, it's the same. Apologies there. Yeah, it's on the right side. Hey Rex, how's it going, dude? Yeah, so that's what this is supposed to be. This dude, and so I put the head on there because that's the head that works on there. So now the good thing about this, now I have two different heads for two different figures that I have that I can use that on, which is why I opened this one instead of you know, instead of this one at the moment. So I'll open up this one some other time. But I was just thinking I've got enough you know, Superman up there, and I've got one in front of me that I don't need to open up another Superman, and I'll just leave that in there. But I think I might do I might show you guys something else. A very, very old figure, right, that I bought. So these are like Superman animated figures that are still in their packets. But if you look at it, age has basically, right, has chipped off the plastic, and that how they're yellow. Like these are white, these are supposed to be like this color, right, when they come out. But look at the yellowness of that because due to age. And so you know, so I've left them in the packet because it's, you know, I mean, it's got the wear and tear happening to the packet, but I don't know if, you know, if it's worth taking out at this stage because it's so you know, it's there and it's doing its thing, so I'm happy with it. So you've got a Lex Luthor, and you've got a evil alien Brainiac, right? And so on the back of them, you've got him. He's going to be in this vehicle, right? His space traveling vehicle. And then you got Lex. You've got this one here that fires off. It kind of reminds me, I might actually have a piece of that somewhere because I've got a whole like ice cream container full of like weaponry and accessories from all sorts of figures. And sometimes, you know, I have no idea what it is, and I'll put it up on, you know, on the New Zealand Comics and action figures and collectibles page, and say, hey, what's this from? And we'll all try to look at it. And then you can also, then I get told, hey, try Google glasses, and you'll be able to pop it up. So, you know, if you go to Google and you can do like an image search, sometimes it comes up. Sometimes you go like that. It's like the opposite of what you want. And I've had that many times, you know, like if I go and look for this, it'll be something else. So I don't know what this is off, but then I think this might be off cable, right? Because it kind of looks like it's a gun, but, you know, because a lot of times, you know, when kids are playing with toys, figures, you know, weapons get lost and stuff, you know, or ends up in the garden somewhere, right? And or gets swept away in the vacuum and stuff, and so it's kind of annoying, you know, if you for the people who have them, or you know, or if they're trying to sell it off, they come up without the pieces. I almost bought a cable just coming into Christmas, but then realized that it didn't have pads because I was going to buy it, and I was like, oh yeah, I can do that, and then I was like, oh, the pads are missing off the knees. And it's like, oh, don't want that, you know, because why don't I just save up money and buy them with the pads, right? That's what it comes down to, is like, why not just wait, and you might end up with the full thing. So that is that is all I've got today, because I don't want to take too long with you guys. Because being on here every day is not not my thing, because we've got live streaming on we've got an amazing show coming up by the looks of it on Friday night with the Kiwis and comic books, and then also we've got the Sunday show with Draw and Talk. So yeah, make sure you guys are up for that. So if you're overseas, you can rewatch that. Like if you're if it's too late for you, you can watch the next day on Saturday. We're not broadcasting anything on Saturday that I'm aware of right now. But on Sunday, we've got the Draw and Talk interview with Tyler Carpenter, who's a manga artist, writer. And, it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to that. I think it's going to be a good conversation, learning about him. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you. Thanks, Rex, for hanging out. And for wherever you are, be well. And have a good day, good night, good evening, and or good morning. So, ka kite anō. See you next time.